expand and simplify. So let's look at how we can expand and simplify this. So either you can expand the first bracket and the second bracket, and then you get all the terms after the expansion, and then you expand it with the third bracket, or you can just go for the the second bracket and the third bracket you expand, and then you can combine it with the first bracket. So I have chosen to do the last two brackets first. So it doesn't really matter which order you go, because at the end of the day they are all multiplications. So I'm just going to perform this expansion. X times the x is going to give me an x squared. So the next one is x times minus 3y minus times a plus is a minus 3. So that's a 3 here. X times the y becomes a xy. So that's how I get a minus 3xy. And then we're going to have the plus. This is positive and this is positive. Positive times positive is positive. 3 times y times x is, of course, should be 3yx. But when we write the expansions, we write in alphabetical order. So we're going to write x followed by y, because x precedes y in alphabetical order. And then we go for the last term, which is there's a plus here and a minus. So plus times the minus is going to become minus 9y squared. Okay, plus times the minus is minus. 3 times 3 is a 9, and y times by y is going to become y squared. Now there is something interesting at this step. Minus 3xy and plus 3xy could get cancelled in the next step. So we are just going to copy down the first bracket just as it is without doing anything. Whereas the second bracket, if you notice, minus 3xy and plus 3xy is equal to 0xy, which is actually 0. So we might as well just cancel them. So what we have is just x square minus 9y square. Now this is exactly the reason why I did the expansion of these two brackets instead of expanding it and finally cancelling it, because if I'm going to expand the first and the second bracket, you would have noticed there are 3 terms here and there is 2 terms here. 3 times 2, that should give you a 6 terms when you perform the expansion. And then the there are 6 terms, then you're going to multiply by 2 more terms. That's going to give you 12 terms altogether, and then you will perform your cancellation and all that, and that would mean you are going to deal with lots of terms, okay, which will be more complicated. So that is why it is always better if we can actually use a little bit of discretion, and we actually can see which step would be which way would be a better way for you to solve. Now that we have expanded the last 2 brackets, so we've got still one more bracket to expand. So this one here, there are 3 terms. Okay, a term is separated from each other by either a plus or a minus sign. There's a 2x is one of the term, minus 5y is another term, plus 1 is another term. And in the second bracket, we have got 2 terms, x squared and minus 9y squared. So there's 3 times 2. When we expand, we're going to have altogether 6 of the terms. So let's do that now. 2x times x squared is, of course, is going to become 2x cubed. 2x to the power of 3. X times x square is x times x times x, which is actually x cubed. So then we are going to take the 2x and expand it against the minus 9y squared. 2x is a positive 2x, and this is a minus 9y squared. So plus times a minus is, of course, a minus. And then you look at the number 2 times 9, that's a 18. That's how I got the 18. And we have x times a y squared, and that's how we get the xy squared. So we have taken the first term and expanded against the first 2 terms of the second bracket. Now we're going to go for the minus 5y times x squared. This is negative, this is positive. Negative times positive is negative, of course. 5 times y times x squared. Of course, we will write in alphabetical order. So we're going to write the x square first and then followed by y. So minus 5x square y. So what is next? So minus 5y times minus 9y squared. Now why did it become plus? Because this is a negative times a negative. That's, of course, positive. Minus times minus. And 5 times 9, the constants, when you multiply together, that becomes a 45. You've got a y here and you've got a y square. So y times a y squared means y times a y. So it's altogether y, which is actually y cubed. So that's how I get 45y to the power of 3. Then last we have the 1 still, which we have not expanded. So we take 1 times x squared, that should be straightforward, x squared, and then 1 times minus 9y squared should give you just minus 9y squared. So we have got altogether, 6 terms when we perform the expansion, and if you rearrange them by putting the 2x cube and the y cube together, so we get a 2x cube plus 45y cube as the first two terms, followed by, let's put all the squared terms, so which is a plus y squared plus x squared minus the 9y squared, and then we still have 2 more terms which contains both x and y, so minus 18xy squared and minus 5x square y. So please take note that xy square is not the same as x squared y. Okay, this is xxy, this means xyy. They are not the same, so hence they cannot be combined together, and that is of course going to leave option A as the correct option.